Okay guys, so the filling for our ravioli, all right? So we're packing flavour into this. We've got our roasted squash. Again, roasting is all about, removing water, intensifying flavour. So this is really, really important for this filling of this ravioli. We don't want any water in there, or as little water as possible, okay? So just peeling the skin off. Comes off really easy. I'm going to go about half of this squash for our ravioli. We're not making many, we're only making a couple, so we don't need a great deal. It's probably about 200 grams. Okay, and then just squashing that down. It's a bit firmer than the other part of the squash that we use for the puree. That's because that's the solid body of the squash, whereas the bottom bit has all the seeds in, so that tends to cook a little bit quicker. So just breaking it up. Now, if we've got a bit of texture in there, that's not a bad thing. It's going to make it a bit more interesting when you're sinking your teeth into it. Yeah? And for me, I like to really sort of experience the ingredients that we're eating, understanding where they've come from, So this time of year, there's nothing better than squash, sage, so fragrant, just so good, Autumn into winter, amazing. And when you rub the leaves of sage, you'll feel the oil on your fingers, okay? Just making little long pieces of that, and just going through that with a knife. Sage is one of those leaves that amazing cooked, fried, it's quite robust. Raw, it's a little bit pungent, not quite as pleasant, So applying heat to it's a really, really good thing. It's a strong herb. Herbs are amazing if you know how to use them. They're great flavour makers, flavour bombs. That's what they're all about. I've also got some thyme. So just stripping those little leaves off the stalks. There's nothing more upsetting than if you're in a restaurant, you get a bit of thyme stalk in there. Yeah, we don't want that. We just want those little, beautiful little fragrant leaves, And then a good season of salt. This, to really work inside that ravioli, has to be packed full of flavour. We've also got some Parmesan cheese, okay? So the Parmesan cheese adds a bit of richness, a bit of acidity. Parmesan is quite an acidic cheese, so it really sort of delivers another level of flavour as well. You could use mascarpone. You could use a little splash of cream. Just got to be really careful about adding too much liquid, And of course, at this stage, we need to give it a taste. And we're after big flavour. A little bit more cheese. There's enough salt in there. Touch more cheese. The last thing that's going to go in there is just a couple of chestnuts. In fact, I'm going to go 3 chestnuts. Again, this time of year, these are just such a good ingredient. Now, Chef Steve called these monkey brains. They're not. They are just very, very delicious. Quite rich, quite moorish, Great in vegetarian food, but great in all food, to be honest. So I want to cut them up relatively small because I don't want them to break the pasta. As the pasta sort of changes shape as it cooks, you don't want the chestnut to sort of push through or break through the pasta. At the same time as with the squash, we want, it doesn't all have to be tiny, tiny, tiny pieces. A bit of variety of textures is going to sort of make it more interesting when you eat it. So into the bowl. And we're done. What's good actually is if you put that into the fridge and just let it firm up a little bit, probably just 10-15 minutes. You know, just like the hob is where you control high heat, you know, and cook stuff, the fridge and the freezer are also your best friends in terms of getting stuff cold, bringing them down to the right temperature. It's about being in control of those ingredients. Okay, so into the fridge for 10 or 15 minutes.